Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Wendy, and I will be your worship associate today. I'm also your intern minister, and I am joined by some very lovely people, the Reverend Sian Wiltshire, our minister, Jacob Swetland, our director of music ministries, and Danielle Lewis, our director of religious education. We have all come here today to welcome you, and whether you have been here 30 years or 3 or 10 months or 10 minutes, if this is your very first time, welcome. Whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, danced, did a jig, did the hustle coming on the way in, we want to extend you a huge welcome, and we're thankful that you have joined us. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors today. If you're seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you find it here. We are a community of many different identities and beliefs. We are bound together not by dogmas, creeds, or fears, but rather a covenant to create a welcoming, inclusive, and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of building this community, let's recognize the many, many volunteers that are here putting this together today. It's a lot of people, and we're so thankful to you. And in the spirit of keeping us kind of on focus, we ask that if you're in the room here, please silence your cell phones. Now is the time. And if you are on Zoom, good morning. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. We're happy that you're here. And as we worship today, let us acknowledge that our church property rests on the sacred ancestral homelands of the Hachiman and Tongva peoples who seek justice and responsible stewardship of their land. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice, and this morning I would like to invite Paula up to light our chalice. Paula has been a member here for about 7 years. And you might notice she's wearing this shirt because she is very excited about voting. She has been working in her community to engage younger voters that have not even turned 18 yet, 17-year-olds getting registered so that they are ready when the time comes to vote. So thank you so much, Paula. Please, I know, she's a voting superhero, people. Please join me in saying our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and we'll sing our opening song, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
Though you have been warned, and given plenty of explanations, reasons to do otherwise, you have persisted. You have persisted to claim a life of joy and justice, to carve out this time, this space for the renewal of your own heart. Despite all the reasons, the resistance fighting for your attention, luring you towards fear, you persist in practicing gratitude for this day, this life that has been given, this chance to begin again. And so, let us gather. Let us gather that we might offer one another courage, strength, healing, hope, and this promise to persist in kindness, persevere in compassion, and prevail against all that might drag us down. So come, let us worship together. got a story for our time for all ages. Once upon a time, it was actually about 150, 160 years ago, there was a young boy named William Ernest Henley, but everybody just called him Ernie. Now, Ernie was this very bright and curious boy who loves books and stories and writing, and he dreamed of growing up to be just a great writer one day. But when he was really young, something really difficult happened to him. You see, he got really sick. His legs started hurting so much that he had a hard time walking, right? The doctors told him that he'd have to have a big operation to get him to feel better. It was a scary time, and Ernie was very brave. When he was just 12 years old, he lost half of one of his legs because of the illness. But even though it was hard, Ernie didn't give up. He learned how to walk with a wooden peg leg, like a pirate, right? And he found that ways to keep going even when things were tough. But as Ernie grew older, his illness, unfortunately, just didn't go away. So when he was a young man, he was about 26 years old, he had a long stay in the hospital again, and the doctors again said, we might need to take the other leg. It could have been a really lonely and sad time for him, but instead, Ernie decided to do something incredible. He wrote poems. He wrote poems that helped him express what he was feeling and to give him courage. And in fact, he wrote that poem that the choir just sang, Invictus. Invictus means unconquered. He wrote it while in hospital during one of the hardest times of his life. He'd been through a lot of struggles, but he wanted the world to know that no matter what happened, it wouldn't break him. He believed in the strength inside himself, and he wanted other people to believe in themselves too. He ends the poem like this: I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. He was saying in this poem that though life can sometimes be really rough, we always choose how we face those problems. We are responsible for how we react in the world. It doesn't matter if the world seems dark or scary. What matters is the strength and bravery that we find within ourselves. That's why he called it Invictus, unconquered. No matter what, his spirit was not going to be conquered. And he's inspired many people over the years. And after he wrote this poem, Invictus, he kept writing many more poems and stories, and he became a journalist. He wrote about the news in the world. He was quite famous in his day, in fact. And that peg leg of his? Well, it inspired one of the most memorable characters in all books out there called Treasure Island. He inspired Long John Silver because you see his friend, Robert Louis Stevenson, loved that his friend was so brave but had a peg leg too. And he said, it was the sight of your strength and masterfulness that begot Long John Silver. So Ernie didn't let his illness, his sickness, stop him from following his dreams. And that's the magic of his story. It shows us that even when things are hard, we can still keep going, find our courage, and create something beautiful. So just remember Ernie's poem next time. You are troubled because you too have an unconquerable spirit inside of you. You are the captain of your soul. And that's our story for today. Let's sing our children out and the teachers out to our religious education classes. So what about you? What's the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome in your life? Hopefully it's not a big stone in the middle of the street there. But we've all faced these hurdles, right? Whether it's been a terrible diagnosis, grief at the loss of someone we love, divorce, finding a job even, depression. Maybe you're even facing one now. Those times when it just feels like too much. Maybe it's the state of the world. Maybe it's climate change with massive hurricanes and tornadoes leaving devastation. Or maybe it's an election that feels like a battle for our nation's soul. Then there's the war in Ukraine that seems unending and possibly escalating. And then there's also the genocide of the Palestinian people by a nation traumatized by brutality. Let's all take a deep breath. We feel that sometimes in our belly, in our chest, in our throat, that anxiety, that fear boiling up. Ugh. It's not fun. When I think about some of the biggest hurdles that I've overcome in my own life, I was recalling in particular a time when I was in seminary. It was my first year, and it felt like my world started falling apart, and I was desperately trying to hold it together. It was about in 2005, and it happened in a couple of months. Let's see, my mother had been diagnosed with breast cancer again. I was told I had to have a hysterectomy. I had to move, but I didn't know where I was going to move. My dear friend and mentor, Janine Ellison, had died of a brain tumor. I was working full-time and going to school full-time. And my biggest form of support, well, I love my twin, you guys know my twin sister, she was focused on her new baby. And I'd always prided myself on being able to handle anything. I'm not a high-stress person, I'm pretty chill, and I'm a problem solver. I can get things done, so just do things, right? Oh, but I was just barely holding it together. And one day it all came to a head. I was waiting outside my professor's office. I was in seminary, right? I was going to meet her for our yearly academic counseling thing. Are you on track to graduate? All that sort of thing, right? My nerves were kind of frayed. I was holding it together, like, okay, just breathe, Sean, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. And I was waiting, and I was waiting, and I was waiting. And after about 30 or 40 minutes, and my nerves are just getting more and more on edge, she comes walking down the hallway, and she stops, and she sees me, and she's, oh, Sean, I'm so sorry, I forgot about our appointment. And you know when you just have that straw that just breaks the camel's back? And I just remember like kind of gritting my teeth. I need to reschedule. And we did. I went home, sat on my couch, and I literally started shaking. It was just so, everything felt like it was coming down on me, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. As I sat there and breathing, I felt this little voice, and it asked me, why don't you just let go? Nobody's here. Just let go. So I did. And I sobbed. I wailed. I punched the pillows on my couch. I just let everything go out of me. All those emotions, all that energy that I'd held back, that was holding everything back, just let it go, and the dam burst, and I sobbed. And it felt great. Oh, it was like this huge weight had come off of me, and I was like, kind of like this wet noodle afterwards. Okay. I didn't realize just how much energy it takes to hold those emotions in, right? It just needed to come out. I find it amusing that I was afraid to talk to my professor. This professor was the one who actually taught pastoral care. Yeah, we're so, withholding everything inside us. We're somehow weak if we show emotion. But ancient traditions and cultures, they knew this, right? They knew that this needs to come out. They called this ability, this almost ritualistic thing that they had. They called it lamentation. It was a time when that stoic behavior was allowed to be set aside and you could just wail to your heart's content. They made specific time for it. In fact, there's an entire book written in the Hebrew scriptures called Lamentations that articulates one of the most difficult times in the life of the Jewish people when Babylon came in and destroyed Jerusalem and enslaved the Jewish people. We've lost that idea of making room for lamentation in our modern world. Okay, we're allowed to cry at funerals, but somehow we're meant to be Superman and Superwoman, to never let those emotions of pain and grief and anger show. So I said, what was I so afraid of? She's a professor of pastoral care. Like, oh, great. And let's just face it, the world kind of sucks right now. As my colleague said yesterday at a friend's ordination, where the world is on fire, it feels like it, and it's hard. And we should be upset. And if you're dealing with just more than what's going on in the world, just the news, you're facing something on your own that's hard and personal, oh, honey. Yeah, oh, honey. If you're feeling any of this, I want to offer you this poem. As I read this poem, you're welcome to soften or close your eyes to take in these words. The days that come and carry away your spirit, your spark, bow down. Lay your head on the hard earth and let your brokenness join the decay that is stirring there. Life rebels against death, takes the very dust of our bones and reweaves it into glory. You were made for life, and life does not intend to let you go, but rest you can. Decay and falling away from ourselves is part of that process. If you need to fall apart, then do, for life will hold you in that. It will teach you how to desiccate and blow away, and then will call you back from the four corners of the earth, and it will renew you with the water of the tears of others who, like you, weep for all that is lost. Life will breathe back into you the breath that wafts from the mouths of children laughing, from the lion's roar, from the exhalation of trees. You will be reborn into the arms of beloveds, and together we will sing a new song. Life does not intend to let you go, but rest you can. And you will be reborn into the arms of beloveds. So has anyone here in life, never had a big hurdle you had to go across? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's part of life, right, that we face these hurdles. But have you noticed that we have one thing in common? Yeah, right? Yeah, we're still here. We're survivors. We survived these hard times. And sometimes maybe it didn't seem like that we would, but somehow with the help of friends, family, community, whatever gods there may be, we got through it. And I think in the midst of our despair, we can forget that we've done this before. We can do it again. We still we persisted. Mary Oliver wrote a poem after the death of her wife. And I love this poem because it teaches us to pay attention. She wrote this: "That time I thought I could not go any closer to grief without dying, I went closer, and I did not die. Surely God had his hand in this, as well as friends. Still I was bent, and my laughter, as the poet said, was nowhere to be found. Then said my friend Daniel, brave even among lions, he said, it's not the weight you carry, it's how you carry it. It's not the weight you carry, it's how you carry it. Books, bricks, grief, it's all in the way you embrace it, balance it, carry it when you cannot and would not put it down. So I went practicing. Have you noticed? Have you heard the laughter that comes now and again out of my startled mouth? How I linger to admire the things of this world that are kind and maybe also troubled. Roses in the wind, the sea geese on the steep waves, a love to which there is no reply. It's not the weight you carry, it's how you carry it. How do you carry grief, anger, despair, hopelessness? Do you wear it on your sleeve for the whole world to see, maybe taking your anger or regret out on those that we love? Or maybe you start horribilizing, right? Thinking about all the worst case scenarios. Or do you, like me, you search for knowledge, anything that could help you understand what the heck is going on here? Do you start a to-do list? Think that maybe you could just do enough, work hard enough, make everyone happy enough, it will somehow be okay. Or do you stop, look around, be present to the beauty that surrounds you, and admire the kindnesses of the world? Are you present to this moment, not worrying about the future or regretting the past, but present to the beauty that surrounds you? Look around you, the beauty in this room. Here are people that will be with you, companion you in your grief, your fears, your anger. I finally got it. Actually, I admit it was last night. I was working on this sermon and just not feeling it. Like I'm trying to, okay, we've got this big election coming up and I want to get everybody feeling like, okay, we can do this. Yes, we can do this. I am terrified of this election. I truly feel this is a battle for the soul of our nation, and the polls show everything so close. Now, I tend to carry my grief by trying to find information. So I'm looking at all the polls and listening to the pundits, and I had my blood pressure taken this week, and it was not good. I know some of you share my fears, but some of you may not, and that's okay. But I was reading this last night, I was going through these poems, and I read this one, and I wondered, how am I practicing? How am I holding my fears? The funny thing is that I've got this friend of mine who keeps sending me videos and articles that have a positive spin on the election to give me hope. Any piece of good news. And I realized this was the little epiphany, was that he is a good person, and he's here with me in this. He has given me hope. Maybe you're not about the election, I'm not sure about that yet, but simply that he exists. I look around me and I admire, and I admire, and I admire, and I see all of you and I'm like, you all exist. Because here's the thing, no matter the outcome of the election, goodness still exists in this world. It doesn't die on November 5th. It's here to stay in each of us. And not just in us, but those that came before us as well, on whose shoulders we stand. They didn't give up. They fought with their words, with their pens, their poems, and sometimes even with their bodies for justice. Just so that we could exist here today and say even these words in this pulpit. They did it for the love of this nation and for the love of the future. When I think about this friend, and I think about you, and I think about my other friends, I can come back to the present and all those who are fighting for freedom, justice, and joy. I can admire, 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 and I remember that we've gotten through these tough times before. We can do this. I got there. I was reborn in the arms of beloveds. Because we forget how strong we are, how courageous. That just because we laid down our brokenness on the hard earth to rest doesn't mean we're going to lay there forever. We forget how strong, how beautiful our souls are when our eyes are clouded with fear and grief, and we need reminders that we are the masters of our fate, the captains of our soul. So, there's a way that we can remember this. We're going to do a little exercise this morning, all right? This is a fun one. I want to invite you to stand in body or spirit if you're able. And Zoomers, I'm talking about you too. Come on, get up out of your chair at home. Put down the coffee. Stand back a little bit. All right, so I want you to stand, if you can, with your feet kind of shoulder width apart. All right? Now I want you to make some fists. I want you to put them on your hips. Now I want you to puff out your chest and strike a superhero pose. All right? Now you're laughing, but seriously, Harvard did a study that said if you hold this pose for more than a few minutes, you will feel lighter. You will feel like you can do everything. That you can, you got this, that your soul is unconquerable. How cool is that? We are all superheroes. Okay, you can sit down now. I always feel better after that one. All right. Now, most of you know that I'm a shaman, but I'm also a humanist. I'm a humanist like most of you. I'm going to keep this pose, man. This feels good. We humanists believe that we humans create our own problems and we solve our own problems. Humanists believe in the human spirit. And it's ultimately an optimistic way of seeing the world. It posits that each of us have dignity and worth, that it's in our bones. Not original sin. And it's not by anything particular that we've done. We are superheroes. And the story and the poem Invictus to me are inspiring. They remind us of that humanist strength. That we may create our own problems, that we're going to also solve them. You know, those words that Henley or Ernie said, right? He wrote, it resonates with us because we do have that strength inside of us. We are the superheroes of our lives, the masters of our fate, masters of the universe. You know, I have a master's of divinity. I am a master of the divine, right? And these poets like Oliver and Henley and Fulbright, they're like the prophets of old. They're reminding us who we are, that yes, we may need to lament, but we also have this strength and courage and hope within us. They're telling us that you were made for life, and life does not intend to let you go. That it's not the weight you carry, it's how you carry it. And it matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishments, the scroll, that we are the masters of our fate and the captains of our soul. So let us never forget this, that come what may, whatever hurdles we face, whatever outcomes of the election, if you practice admiring all that is around you, what you have, you will be reborn into the arms of beloveds. And together we will sing a new song. So please join me. And if you'd like to strike a pose as we sing, I am willing.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our returning song.
Okay. I'm adopting my superhero pose right now. Before continuing, we're just going to take that in for a minute and know that Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully supporting. That's right, fully supporting, because we are superheroes, meaning that members and friends raise all the funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time and treasure and talent, and OCUUC amplifies the spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate. And this month, we are supporting Stand Up for Kids, a group we've been supporting for a very long time, and they are supporting the unhoused young people in our community, and they will be sharing the plate with us today. So yes, we're starting our offering. There are many ways that you can contribute. You can go to our website, you can go to Vanco Mobile, and also our ushers are coming around with baskets for you. So anywhere you choose, or however much you choose, it is much appreciated, and it supports all of the work we do here.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching up to the beat I drum. To the beat I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Whenever the words
So, when you're feeling a little down, there's nothing like some good news. And Tom Lockery has some great news for us.
So, 4 years ago, when we started thinking about the new sanctuary out here, which is starting to take shape, we had raised our first $250,000 to do it. And at that point, we were invited by the Spirit Level Foundation out of San Diego to apply for a grant. So we did, and I wasn't sure how much we'd be able to get, but I thought, let's just ask. And so I asked them for $250,000 because you have to match it. That's one of the rules, you have to match it. And I didn't think we'd get it actually, but lo and behold, they approved it and we got $250,000. They gave us, well, that's history, that's history. We've already, they gave us $50,000 a year. They started with 50 and over the next 4 years gave us another 50 each year. This past spring, the board of the Spirit Level Foundation came to one of our services and they loved it. They thought we do so much so well. They love how we do time of sharing and the joys and concerns. They love how we have integrated Zoom so much into our service for everybody out there. They just thought everything we were doing was spot on. And about a week later, I got a call from Lawrence Hess, he's actually the funder of the Spirit Level Foundation. And he said that they had finished the contributions they'd made, but if we would like, we could apply for another grant. Now, they had never given anybody else $250,000 before. That was the largest grant they had ever given. And I thought, maybe we can do it again. And I had a little chat with them, and we went ahead and we filed an application with them. I did it in August. And last week, I got a message from them saying that my request for a grant had been approved. I had asked them for $450,000, and they approved it. It gets even better. Normally, what I asked is if they would give us $75,000 a year for 6 years. They said you can have the $450,000 up front if it will help you reduce your mortgage. So we will be soon receiving $450,000 toward the new sanctuary. That's good news.
Of our own fate and superheroes, please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses the many gratitudes for the gifts that we share. We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
How cool is that? And you know, it's because of the energy that this community brings, this loving energy that you all have. It's just vibrant and thriving, and it's amazing. And our sanctuary is being built. It's going vertical now. Excellent. All right. Well, now is that time when we honor the important events and people in our lives, and you're invited, one and all, member, friend, visitor, whether you're a roomer or a Zoomer, to participate in this weekly ritual of joys and sorrows. So I want to invite Judith Stamper up here to join me. She's one of our pastoral care team members, and she's going to assist us. So if you've come here today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last days, weeks, or hours, something that struck you at your core, and you want to honor that by lighting a candle, you are invited to do so. If you're a roomer, you can come forward to light your candle. If you'd like to share your joy or sorrow out loud. You can write it on a slip of paper that like this one, and the ushers have it. Just raise your hands and we'll bring one over to you if you missed it coming in. And then you just simply hand it to me and I'll read it out loud. And of course, Zoomers, you can actually put yours in the chat. I will then read them out loud and Judith will light you a candle. So, as music is played, I invite you to silently offer healing or celebration as you feel called and according to your beliefs. So please come forward. So Sandy M., she lit a candle of appreciation. If you didn't know, Sarah J., our administrator, was responsible for the food for the auction last night. She did all of that herself. Sarah is an amazing cook. So let's see here. Dolly, she sent an email says to light a candle of joy for her. She says, "What a joy to have my daughter-in-law, Julia, visit with me from Arizona." She says, "Much more British sort out and Swedish death cleaning was accomplished, as well as social outings." And she ends it like this: "On my way to the funny farm." That's our Dolly. All right, and Simone B., she lit a candle of gratitude for the safe return of her children to Portland from a wonderful week in Hawaii, and also for hope for the future and peace in the world. Amen. And Sherry L. said she lit a candle of joy. She said, I had the privilege of attending a gala for the Friends of the Children, and Simone Biles was the honoree. Very nice. Very cool. And let's see here. Sorry, we've got a bunch of things going on here. Let's see. Alejandro, he lit a candle of joy. Let's see if I can read this okay. He said, a successful birthday and fundraiser party, dinner on Friday. I hosted for Camp Cocker Dog Rescue, thank you, in honor of Pucker. If you remember, Pucker's Alejandro's sweet Cocker Spaniel, as this day was it was his first birthday in 13 years without him, without his beloved Pucker. So, and he says, P.S. we raised over $600. Congratulations, right on. Let's see here, thank you. Let's see, Elizabeth K., she lit a candle of joy. She had, I had the privilege of witnessing the pure joy and wonder of my students' eyes as they spotted a mule deer on the trail during our field trip to the nature center. Isn't that fun when they see it for the first time? Let's see here, all right. There, let's see here. Francie C., she lit a candle of joy. You see these beautiful flowers up there? These are for her because she is celebrating her 82nd birthday on October 30th. It's the day before Halloween, she said, as her mom would say. She is grateful for all the flowers are for her birthday. So congratulations and happy birthday. And Emily S., she lit a candle of joy because the final word from the ophthalmologist that her older twin daughter Lily will not need glasses for now. Excellent. Let's see here. I had two people actually, oh, that's right, one was online here, as well as Wendy. Corey, I think sort of says this, he says, we felt so fortunate, if you could light a candle for Corey. Corey B., he said, we felt so fortunate to attend Casey's ordination yesterday. Remember Casey Pandel? She's been a frequent speaker here. She is now Reverend Casey Marie Pandel. And Corey goes on and says, what a wonderful experience to see this person change from the 6-year-old we knew to an ordained UU minister. And a shout out to Meg for being our proxy at the auction that we missed. So, yes, and I want to echo that as well. That's where Wendy and I were there last night. And Meg, I didn't realize you were proxy for multiple people. My goodness. I think she's home today. She's probably exhausted from doing this. All right. Let's see. And Wendy also lit a candle for the same. So, let's see here. Marilyn G., she lit a candle of joy. She says her latest PET scan showed marked improvements. Yeah. If I can read this. Okay, her bone and liver nodules, as well as some of the lymph nodes that previously showed metastasis, have now gone. The medicine is working. This is not a cure, but good news in terms of her as her cancer treatment. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. And Phyllis K., she lit a candle of sorrow. She says, please, prayers for my friend Michelle, who received a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer last week. Ooh, sorry, Phyllis. And Deborah Q., she lit a candle of joy for Tom L. for having the chutzpah to ask for $450K for the sanctuary. All right. So those online, let's see. So Sarah H. does remind us that other ways of dealing with anxiety is, if you're anxious about the election, is to canvass, donate, phone bank, and vote. And remember to support your local politicians. Donna M., she said, my sorrow, oh, poor Donna, is that my knee needs more rest, so I can't be with you in person. My joy is that I'm with you in spirit through Zoom. Plus, Tom, you rock. And Linda C. says, please light a candle of joy and gratitude on the occasion of our youngest grandchild, Samantha's 20th birthday last Friday. Wow. Oh my goodness. Ah, so much going on. Let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, whether they were spoken or remain silent in our hearts. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. I invite you to join Judith in a spirit of prayer.
Spirit of love, in this time of fear, grief, and angst, our nation holds its collective breath. May we remember that we are a people of resilience. We have faced hurdles before, we have weathered storms, we have been consumed by flames, and we have risen like the phoenix from the ashes, and we will again. May we remember our shared humanity, our universal kinship, our interdependence. May we recognize the spark of the divine inside all of us, even those we are not quite sure about. In this time of uncertainty, let us remember that the good will go on. As we work to move forward together, may love prevail. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. Amen.
Let us join together as we extinguish the chalice and join us together in repeating our unison affirmation. Spirit, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Please carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you are a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become part of this beloved community. If you would like to know more about our church, we invite you to stop either at the welcome table outside in the courtyard or contact us at hello@OCUUC, and we will help you get connected. And we'll all be milling about. It's a friendly bunch, so stick around. Don't just run on out to your car if you're new, or you can. Anyway, Zoomers, you're welcome to stay after chat with one another online. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, and then announcements. So we've got a lot going on. I want to point out that next Sunday, daylight savings ends, so you get to sleep in an extra hour. Isn't that a nice thing? Sarah's excited. Excellent. Let's see here. So you can see that there's also a lot of things. The other thing I wanted to let you know that on election night, Tuesday the 5th, I am going to be online on this link. If anybody just wants to be with someone, as we're all breathing and hopefully, celebrating. So anyway, I just want to let you know I'm there for you. The other thing, we've got a lot going on today after the service. There are so many wonderful things for you to be a part of after the service today. So we've got Women's Circle, which is in the Victoria Room. That's in that building in the middle of the building. You can come and chat with me if you are interested in knowing anything about Unitarian Universalism, this church, life, the universe, and everything. You can come and chat with me. I'm going to be in my office, which is also in this building at the end of the hallway. And we'll start just after everybody gets a little bit of coffee, that kind of thing. And then, of course, we've got a leadership information session. So we're going to be starting some leadership training starting in January. Reverend Judy is going to be doing that, and she'll be heading that out. I believe that's in Suite 7. And then, of course, we've got the Climate Justice Revival. Woohoo! Craig's excited. So if you remember, we did this a few months ago when we started getting down like what do people want to work on and everything. So we are going to gather as a crowd and kind of crowdsource everything. We're just going to be talking about, okay, here's where people were interested in working on. So let's talk about the next steps. What are we going to do next? Catherine's going to lead that, and I'm going to join in after the Meet the Minister is over with that. So the other thing that's happening is that the children are coming to trick-or-treat, and underneath your seats, some of you have buckets to open up and give to our children as they come through trick-or-treating. So if you look underneath your seats. All right. Okay. All right. Go up and down the aisles, people, and get your trick-or-treat. But you got to say trick-or-treat. Service is over. Let our service continue.